The word modern is just a joke. Modern doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. It's fucking like conceptual art. It's boring. It's fucking crap. You're living in the past. All these fucking people doing all this fucking, audience participation. It's bullshit. It's like 30 years out of date. You're living in the past. Shock-headed Peter. That was goodbye modern 30 years ago.
Дамы и господа, просим приветствовать The Tiger Lilies!
One guy, it's really funny. We did this gig once. It was with this guy from Einstürzende. Right. Okay. So there's this band, you see, and we did this show with them, and it was an electronic music festival, right? At the Royal Festival Hall in London. It was an electronic music festival, and there's some wanker from something like The Wire or something. He wrote a review of the concert, and he described me as playing old-fashioned instruments. Did you know you played an old-fashioned?
I thought his Korg synthesizer was from the 1980s.
Yeah, exactly.
That strikes me as
but
old.
That's modern. It's bullshit. The whole concept of modernity is finished.
But this just means current, doesn't it? I mean,
my accordion is old-fashioned, whereas like a Korg synthesizer is modern. It's absurd.
You see that crown of thorns upon his head? That was my idea. I think I might be going to hell.
Merry Christmas. Welcome to hell.
Oh dear!
we didn't have a name for it. We just made the sort of music. We just made the music that that we liked. Martin liked Edith Piaf, and he liked Jacques Brel, and he liked the Three Penny Opera, and he liked Bessie Smith, and liked English kind of music hall styles and German Oompa music. So we just kind of played the things that kind of liked, and there wasn't really a dark cabaret scene. There wasn't really much of a cabaret scene, and that's kind of grown in the last 15 to 20 years, I suppose. Really, the whole cabaret scene has developed into something that was very, very small when we were sort of playing in cabaret clubs in London in the early mid 90s and stuff. Cabaret was more like just strippers and poets, mostly poetry, music, and girls who were kind of artistic, but they also did stripping for money. Now it's burlesque dancers, and they have kind of gone back to the 50s kind of thing, or now they're more kind of, it's more like a job, whereas before it was like they were doing it because they were interested in art. They were artists, most of these girls, and then people were stand-up comics or they were poets. So the whole cabaret scene kind of developed from those sort of roots in England anyway.
nice to see you too.
You know, one thing I've noticed, I sometimes I never go to concerts and see bands, but sometimes you get bands play before us or after us, and you see their audiences, and I'm always struck by how generally with bands their audiences all look the same age, they all dress the same. Well, I've noticed that with our audience they all look completely different. You get lots of different ages, different types of people.
Yeah, there was a mixed audience. We seem to get the kind of people who know us through Leningrad, and then people who knew us when we played theatre shows they might have seen in Europe, and with people who are kind of artists and other people. You know, it's a very. We've always had a very mixed audience. It's not like one type. It's not like people from 25 to 30, or some bands have. Everyone's like a 45-year-old old man with a t-shirt. If you go to the Fall, if you go to the Fall, this English band, if you go to their concerts, pretty much 95% of the audience are balding men in their late 40s to early mid 50s in t-shirts, you know, black t-shirts with band names on them. And it's pretty much 99% of everyone in there looks almost exactly the same. Whereas our audiences are very mixed. We get old people, we get young people, we get some goths, we get some kind of drunks. We get a very big mix. Theatre type people.
Metalheads. Yeah.
Metalheads?
Yeah.
It was this guy Schnurr from Leningrad. You know Leningrad. He really liked us, and he did a cover version. It was a sort of a semi-cover
adaptation,
version.
I suppose.
An adaptation where he went do 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 do, which is Whore, and he just took that bit, didn't he? He didn't take the rest of it. He just took that riff, and then he got his brass band playing do 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 do.
We're not really into naturalism, you know. We like the warmth. Like people there to see us, we don't like. I don't like audience participation where the band interacts with the audience. I think that's horrible. You know,
Horrible?
we don't like.
Why?
Because
It could be great.
Because it's cheap and slick, chat and tacky. It shows you've got no material. You get the audience to do the work instead of actually writing a song. And the actors can do what they like. I mean, we do what we do. We tend to do the work that we do, and then if actors want to move around the audience, that's completely fine. That could work perfectly well. We don't talk to the audience. We don't interact with them in that sort of sense. Really, it's more of a. It's a show. It's a performance. You know, we're doing a performance that people can observe rather than asking for audience participation or a dialogue. We don't really want a dialogue in that sense, really. Some musicians like to talk to the audience and kind of involve them and get them all putting their hands in the air and singing along and stuff. And it's a different way of going for us.
Handsome Tony was a trainer. He had straight white teeth. Lisa thought he was an angel. He was a pimp and a thief. Well, her life was just a journey upon a roundabout. Everything.
We get them from shows or books. Get them books. Different books. There's Shakespeare. One of them's Hamlet by Shakespeare. Another one's Lulu, which is by Francis Wedekind. So we most of the albums these days come from something else, like a book or Yeah, mainly books.
classic literature, you know, usually from those kind of sources. Haven't done anything with Neil Gaiman stuff. No one's asked us to. I mean, these things are usually commissioned by theatres and people who want us to make a show based on something. We do a Neil Gaiman thing if someone wanted to, if someone wanted us to do that. I've read Neil Gaiman, yeah. I've read some of his books. They're all right. I quite like him. Oh, he's a clever man. Yeah, I know him. He's all right. He's a funny man, but yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Neil Gaiman, he's an English sort of writer who writes comic books and sort of fantasy books and things like that. He's married to Amanda Palmer.
Oh, Amanda Palmer. Yeah, well, I know Amanda Palmer. Yeah.
He's worked with Julian Crouch as well on some stuff, theatre stuff as well.
Hide her bruises. Yeah, the tattoos hide her bruises. The tattoos hide her bruises.
It's very different because you're working with either actors and directors, or you're working with video, or you're working with dancers. We do lots of theatre. Some of it's traditional actors talking, and then we're playing in between. Some of we're doing the music. It's like a concert but with added visuals and a dancer, and there's all kinds of different kinds of theatre sort of show that we do. They're all very different in themselves. And we're going off to do Hamlet in Australia in February with 5 Danish actors, and it's flying. It's a big set. We've just been doing a big show in Frankfurt, which has again a large stage and lots of actors, and not very much set, but more just about the text and the costumes and the songs. So they're all very different. Each one is its own world, really.
Rosa with 3 hearts. Rosa needs new hearts. Rosa needs new hearts.
We came here and we were playing in a film called a film called Orleans or something. These people, this TV crew turned up and they showed me videos of these young bands. And one of them was called, I remember one of them was called Dark Daughters. Yeah, Ukrainian band. But there was also this I think they were Russian. They did this very funny video.
Silver Wedding.
No. What?
It was then Silver Wedding, Serебryna Svadьба.
That was Silver Wedding?
Yes.
Really? Oh well, I didn't realise that. Anyway, they did a very funny video.
What should we do now then? Stitch me up! Stitch me up! Train running down the track. Blood running down my back. Here we go, beat me blue and black.
We used to sing on the streets all the time. That's where we come from, the streets.
Now?
No. Why on earth would I want to sing in the street now? We did a video for someone a few years ago, and they wanted us to sing in the street, so we sang in the street.
In Vienna, we went and played in a couple of places in Vienna in the street, and they did a live video of us performing a couple of songs in the street for their video.
Well, I used to sing in the street because there was nowhere else for me to sing, so I used to go and sing in the street. But I don't, it's a bit like sort of Edith Piaf. Would Edith Piaf, after she just played at Olympia, would she go and sing in the street? Or maybe she might if she was drunk and walking on the way home. She might do. And maybe if I was drunk, I don't know, I would. But I don't think she would either, really. No, I mean you sing in the street because you've got nowhere else to sing. It's generally that's what people tend to do. You don't agree with that? Because it's very odd if you don't. Because I don't know people who sing in the street that people sing in the street because they've got nowhere else to sing.
Beat me till I bleed.
It's not fun singing in the street.
It's hard. It's people can
fucking
assault you.
hard.
It's tough.
It's
rough.
abused.
You get
Yeah,
abused.
you
You
get
get
abused.
arrested. You get people cold. You get cold. There's no good thing about playing in the street, particularly. I mean, the good thing about it is that it's free and that you can learn a lot of things. And it's a useful thing and a great thing to do at a particular time.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where you need to sort of decide whether that's enough. Really.
Maybe it depends how big is the economic crash. You know, if there's no gigs at all, we'll go in the street.
And so your life's been a success, and you have pleasure in excess. Don't worry, it will all end soon. The crack of doom is coming soon. And so your life has failed. You've made the progress of a snail. Don't worry, you'll get your revenge. We're all equal in the end. The small and mighty, all the same. This life's a shallow, facile game where every ego will be crushed and every empire turned to dust. The crack of doom is coming soon. The crack of doom is coming soon. Ha, 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 ha.
I used to make quite good money when I sang in the street.
Yeah.
I used to sell. I made cassettes, and I used to sell my cassettes, and then I used to get people put £5 notes and £20 notes in my hat as well. So I used to make really, really good money when I was sang in the street. So it's not. I think if you're really good, you make really good money, even in that on that level. The reason people don't tend to make very good money on the streets is because most of them are shit. I'm sorry, but they are. And that's why they're singing in the street, because they're shit. But there are exceptions, and there's some really sad exceptions.
It's many things. It's not just one thing. It's a process. It's lots of people helping, showing you, wanting to help you put concerts on for you. Lots of work from yourself, from the band. Pushing, working really hard. It's a combination of effort. It requires you to be really good, to really be dedicated, and also requires a lot of help from a lot of really great people who say come and play some concerts and I'll organise them for you, and a lot of sleeping on floors, a lot of driving around for not much money, or just takes a lot of time and effort, but you have to be good.
And every dream, hope, and desire is just a flicker in the fire. And that fire, it will consume. The crack of bass, the saw, the theremin, and the guitar, Mr. Adrian Stout.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're all very kind. And of course, all the way from Slough, on the accordion, on the beautiful red piano, on the homemade ukulele, Mr. Martin Jacques. Give him a big dose of Russian clap.